Maybe some people not seen till the message. Till what message? Hmm. So what we are going to discuss is about a first is about a PC components. About PC components. Okay, and what is their functionality? And what is boot processing? What is boot processing? Issues at a components different in a, well, components time working functional function wise. Second one is at a time of booting, some issues will occur. Okay, like a blank screen error, portable device not found, Windows keep loading, kind of issues around this. And other issues like a what is BSOD, applications crashing like that. Some other few small points also like resetting PCs, system image backup, repair options, safe modes, restoration, kind of stuff. So we'll see how much we can able to discuss and in this. The very first one is about anyway, first of all, functionalities. Guys, you take a desktop or a laptop or a server, all are same only. Only the size wise, capacity wise, okay, price wise difference is there. Size wise, bigger, smaller sizes, okay, compatibilities means, for example, you take a desktop, you can keep it in your home or office, but you can't carry always with you. You can't carry always your desktop with you, right? But you take a laptop, so you can carry a laptop anywhere, okay? You can carry a laptop. You can place your laptop any place. I place my laptop on my table mate. So laptop means on lap also I can put. Servers. You can't put servers and you can't carry your server everywhere, right? It will be in the server room. Okay, in the specifically in that those racks, your connected it, power supplies, network connections are there, and for the servers, right? But that's the difference, size wise, compatibility wise, flexibility or compatibility wise, hardware capacity wise, the built-in hardware capacity wise. Okay, so both are having a similar things. Every system having a CPUs, RAM, motherboard, storage, power connection, power supply. Okay, differentiation is there, but a different system, different type of power connection connectivity is there. But there is a power supply. Okay, so like that, so components are component only. Okay, so it's just we are keeping in mind about like whether it is like a desktop or a laptop or a server. It is. We'll see the components. What are the components? Okay. So if you see this is a regular desktop system, okay, that this box we call it as a cabinet. This box we call it as a cabinet or chases. Some people call it as a CPU, but even because of me or anyone, we call it as a CPU only. So why? Because of hobby. So because of hobby. So really it is not a CPU. But still, lot of people call it as a CPUI because of some kind of hobby or a mindset. Okay, even we are also please put CPU from there to here instead of saying it's cabinet. Okay, sometimes it will happens because of hobby kind of stuff. Like everybody is calling it, I'm also calling like that only. Okay, next. What is there inside this cabinet? Cabinet is just a box. What is there in the inside of the cabinet? Even you take a laptop, what is there inside of your laptop? You take a server, what is inside of your server? Inside, there is a CPU, a central processing unit, also called as processor. Okay. Some people believe processor and central processing unit, CPU, is different. No, guys, processor or central processing unit, both are same. Okay. RAM, ROM, like a BIOS chip. ROM is nothing but your BIOS chip. Motherboards, your motherboard, hard disks, SSDs, CD-ROMs, SMPS, and floppy disk. If now, of course, there is no floppy disk right now. Okay. And if it is a desktop, definitely SMPS is internally. If it is a laptop, your charger is your SMPS one, which converts AC to DC. So your charger externally, but batteries are included inside of the laptop, right? So there are small differences. You take a server, physical server. So that is definitely certain type of server like a tower and rack servers having indirect a built-in SMPS are there inside. Some servers maybe it is having a charger point. It's a separate power supply. So from the AN SMPS DC converters. Okay. So these are the inside of the cabinet. So CPU, RAM, ROM, or BIOS, your motherboard, hard disk, SSDs, CD, DVDs, SMPS. Outside of this cabinets, what are the components are there? Keyboard, right? You are connect your keyboard. So laptop also having a keyboard. It's on the lab. It's an enhanced one. Laptop is mostly it is enhanced type or integrated type components, right? So like that it is. So keyboards, mouse is a pointer device. Keyboard is a input device. Mouse is a pointer device. Okay. Monitor for a display output device it is. The printer and scanners. Printer converts your soft copy to hard copy. This is a document in my system called a soft copy. If I have a picture in my computer called a soft copy, if I print it out on the paper, it is a hard copy. Scanner, it is converts hard copy to soft copy. Okay. So it means you have your college degree certificate is there. It's a paper on paper it is there. You scan it and store into your computer. So that is you are converting in a hard copy to soft copy. Touchpads, your laptop having touchpads instead of mouse pointers, also you can use a touchpad kind of stuff. It's integrated to laptop. Touch screens, my old laptop is a touch screen. Two in one, two in one desktops. Okay, two in one laptops, certain laptops having a touch screens. Okay, two in one laptop means it is tablet come laptop kind of stuff. Okay. Mic and speakers. Yeah, I'm speaking. So then my mic will receive my voice and convert into electrical signal and transmit it. Okay. And the speaker, if you speak, okay, I can able to hear through the speaker. So what your voice, your mic is converted into electrical signal, process it, transfer to the through network, right? And I received it, and then from my speaker, I can able to receive it again. I convert it back into the electrical signal again. Okay. Card readers, Bluetooth devices, external hard disks, joysticks. These are all different components we are connecting to our desktop or laptop to use our system. Okay, for different components for different purposes. Okay, so these are the basic components of your. Okay, for guys, it does not mean you don't know about a physical hardware components. Okay, or you should work on the hardware, but thing is you should everybody should be equally understand about the basic hardware components. Compulsory to know it. Okay, and some people are having a certain kind of myths or a certain kind of ideology that is this one, this is not that one. Okay, some mistake learnings from others, that is also should be clarified because everything is a basic is a hardware. Two important things everybody must learn. One is hardware basics, and second, very important is networking basics. networking concepts, networking basics. I'm not talking about a CCNA kind of stuff, routing, switching, not that one. I'm talking about a basics of network, like an IP address, OSA model, okay? Networking topologies, cables, devices, how they function, how you connected to internet, like how it is, why the router works. So these are the different components of network. So how they work. So these are the important. There is something like a which you don't see directly, that those kind of networking concepts not required. So upcoming upgradation not required. So basic networking concept is important. How we are communicating each other, and basic networking troubleshooting. And in a hardware also same thing. You should know your system configurations. What is your CPU, RAM, storage? Okay. What is your operating system? What version? What edition? What's the difference between an operating system and application? Okay. What is the device drivers? Like the basic things are very important. To learn anything, guys, in future you want to learn about a different type of servers, or different installations, configurations. You want to learn something like I want to learn Windows servers. I should know how to install Windows server, how to install a work with a Windows server, right? How to connect a client system, how to make them communicate each other. So you must know, you want to do that once, like a Windows servers, Linux servers. Okay. So both concepts, hardware, operating system, and networking concepts are very important. And basics of troubleshooting is also very important to learn anything. Okay. Yeah. Vaishnavi. Oh, lot of questions. So that is the last question. What is a card reader? Card reader, SD cards, memory cards. Nowadays, people are not using because of your internal memory is much better. Like a 64 GB is not there now. It is 128, 256 MB GB internal memory for your mobile phones. Even you take a iPhone, it is built-in memory. So maybe in these days you are not using these SD cards. Okay. So these are the SD cards. Okay. So generally, one purpose is for your external memory for your mobile phone. If you are using Android mobile, so generally you will get a one slot for a memory card slot. You will insert it and you can store the data. But you want to read the content, or you want to write, you want to put something inside. Like for example, I have my old SD cards. So I copied certain movies, songs into that SD cards. So whenever I connect, even if I don't have internet, just like yesterday I've been traveling, so no internet connectivity. Okay. So what I done, so offline it is I can able to hear, right? So nowadays very less we are using, but definitely it is okay. So you want to read the content or write the content, and then you can use card readers. Okay. So these are the different card readers, USB based. Okay. These are the SD card readers. External, so we are connecting our system through it's a simple SD card reader. Okay, we'll insert that card into this, and we can able to transfer it. And digital cams. Okay, camera, memory card for camera. General cameras also having this kind of. Yeah, okay, so your pictures are inside of this camera card. Okay. So what you will do, so you want to read it and transfer into your laptop. Okay. So what we need is a card reader. That is the one. Okay. And give some time to complete the topic Okay. We do not have that time. As already said, the window time is very less. Separately, one day we have to take the Q&A. So in a technically, so you can ask yourself. So don't worry about this assessment, technical assessment kind of stuff. Only if any possible, we'll try in case. Otherwise, you have to practice it. Otherwise, it's the best thing is you guys are put yourself a one meeting. Okay. You guys are all, so there is a simple way is you guys are put one meeting yourself. Okay. So we will share the questions. So don't worry about it. Okay. So either you can ask once the answer, or maybe if I have any old questions, I will share it. Okay. Everything is a question, one question only, guys. Whatever I'm telling, everything is one question. Okay. So I'm not talking anything out of your questions. Okay. So everything what I'm discussing is a question only. What is processor? It's a question only. Okay. And what is the differences? Okay. So you guys, if in case you want some discussion about technical and about what I learn and how much can I able to tell is you can guys create one simple Google Meet within yourself. Okay. You have a time, right? So in middle of technical training and the soft skills and other preparation, other Saturdays, Sundays, we can sit together. Take 1 hour. So daily, not required daily. So weekly twice. Okay. Twice or thrice. Just go through all the topics what we have discussed. Once topic completed, you guys are sit together and discuss. Okay. Because so I have to complete minimum 3 to 4 topics I have to complete. Then only I can able to relax. Okay. Relax. Okay. Today we'll take some time off and we'll take tomorrow kind of stuff. Okay. Right now we can't able to do it. I think it is better. Ah. So let's continue. Any questions are there also you can put it when I see you will do it. SD cards. Now. Very good. So guys, again, what is the processor? So see, this is a processor. Small chip is there. You can see it's a single chip. It is okay. It's called a processor. It is a processor. So what is there in processor will do? It will perform arithmetic and logical functions. Means calculations. Okay. The processor, what it is? It's a built-in some instructions. What are the input based on the input instructions and data? It understand and according to that input, it will process it. It means you do the relevant calculations and generate an output and give it to you. That is a processor. Okay. It is, so people say it's a brain of our computer. Without a processor, it's not even a computer. It is. Okay. So that is a processor. Intel and AMD is the most important processors. Intel and AMD both are important processor manufacturers of these processors. Okay. Intel and AMD. So main manufacturers of our processors. Not only that one, different purposes, different manufacturer manufacturing the processors. For our computers, mainly Intel or AMD. Most of us, we are using Intel processors. Very less we use AMD. So there is different reason, different purposes we use Intel or AMD kind of stuff. You are more work with, as a general idea, I'm telling, it's not a declared statements, but it is a general statements. Okay. So people who are working on more multimedia kind of stuff, it means gaming or video editing, audio editing, photo editings. people will do this multimedia kind of stuff. So they prefer AMD because AMD has a built-in graphical memory is good as well as this supporting to the graphic cards also balancing is very good. And AMD processor, so multi-core processor itself, it is comes with a lesser cost compared to Intel. Okay, but AMD produce lot of heat. So compulsory we have to sit in a AC, air conditioner rooms, less dust environments or no dust environment is always preferable for AMD. Okay, so AMD is not a rough and tough, but it's produce lot of heat. So the heat sink is also very important. So higher performance heat sinks also important. Whereas Intel, so people who are doing this data processing related, it means programming, working with different type of applications. So these people use Intel kind of stuff. So that's a general statement, guys. But in reality, it is no difference. So cost-wise, of course, as a seen in a cost. For example, you take Intel i3 processor. It is around more than 15 to 15,000. Okay, 10 to 15,000. So i3 processor is there. Basic i3 processor. Same i3 content, like what are the cache memories are so mainly number of cores wise in i3 processor. Okay, you take a number of cores in a i3 processor compare with AMD processor. So AMD processor comes with 6 to 7,000 only. It's almost like a half of the cost. But still, but AMD required a higher cooling systems. Okay, that's the point. Okay, so that is enough. So both are different manufacturing different processes. Okay. Next, via Motorola, MediaTek, Qualcomm, Samsung. So different companies provide different type of processor. Motorola also manufacturing the different processor used by different devices, including the first mobile processor is designed by Motorola, and the next, okay, of course, for other devices like Cisco routers and switches, the processor is also from Motorola. And mobile phone processors, we know mobile phones, right? Qualcomm, okay, Snapdragon, most famous processor, Snapdragon processor, right? MediaTek. Samsung has its own processor like a Exynos kind of processor. So different manufacturers for different purpose. Computer purpose, mobile purpose, manufacturers. If you want to include anything yourself, you can include in a processor details of your um,
How is
mobile
it?
processor. Yeah, tell me. Someone asking question. Um, yeah, Snapdragon is one of the powerful processor. Yeah, gaming balance is very good. AI, don't know. So AI, very. Anyway, yes, when you see a processor, so what are the specifications you are looking at? Like you want to buy a processor or you are already having a processor. So what are the things you must looking into it? So I'm going to open my task manager. This is called a task bar. In a bottom and right click on the task bar, then there is a task manager. CPU, memory, right? Disk, Wi-Fi, GPU information, you can get it from the performance tabs. So like this, you click here, you'll get performance tab. So I want to know about my CPU. See, what is my CPU number? Intel i5 10210U model. It's the, the base frequency is 1.6 gigahertz base frequency. And if you see in the bottom, if you see in the bottom, so there is a number of cores, number of logical processors, and virtualization technologies enabled and cache memories. See guys, this is my processor. Intel Core i5 10210U model of my processor it is. And what is the speed? 1.6 gigahertz base speed. And number of cores are 4. Number of logical processors are 8. Okay. And virtualization is enabled. And the cache memory, L3 cache memory is 6 MB. So directly from here we can able to get this information. Okay. So find out what is the required. See, Intel processor. Sorry, so what model of processor it is with the manufacturing and number. And then you can able to find their speed. What is the speed of your processor? Okay, what is the bandwidth? So what is my processor? Intel i5 10210U model. So when I put it in a Google, see intel.com or ark.intel.com, like that, and websites will open. So intel.com. So I'll open, see this is my processor model. What you see? Cache memory. So maximum speed, turbo speed, number of cores, number of threads, okay, base frequency, turbo frequency, cache memory. So what is consumptions and next? See this processor details. From the processor details, also you are getting what is the maximum RAM support? What is the maximum RAM support? And what type of RAMs it will support? What is the CPU supported RAMs? So these RAMs only it will support it. You take a little advanced one, means next version or a lower version, it won't support. You have to take this type of RAMs only. DDR4 2666 model. 2 channels means 2 RAMs it will allow. It means either take 160 for maximum. So in my laptop, I have a 16 GB only. So I can go up to 64 GB. My RAM, I can increase up to 64 GB. And this processor having a built-in GPU kind of stuff. Built-in a graphical memory within the processor. That is UHD graphics. UHD graphics model. And it support 4K display also. It support 4K display. It support HDMI output also. What is cache memory? We will discuss that one. Definitely. Cache memory. Very good. Okay. So other kind of details also there. And what I want it is, what is the instruction set? Okay. What is your instruction set? This is 64-bit. Okay. Instructions. And you can see virtualization technology. Yes. Like that. You want to buy a processor or you are already having a processor, means in your laptop or desktop you have a processor. See, the certain details are very important to know it. Okay. So what are the details? Like what is the clock speed of your processor? What is width or architecture? It means instruction set is a 32-bit or a 64-bit processor. And what is your FSB? Means supporting memory size based on your processor maximum memory size it will support. And what is the model of RAM it will support or a clock speed of RAM it will support. And how much cache memory it is, built-in cache memory it is there. So cache memory we'll see guys definitely. Okay. So number of cores per processor, number of cores per processor, number of threads per processor, number of threads per a processor. And the processor is supporting virtualization technology or not. So these are the important parts of your processor. So No question. I had cache memory is like a memory only, but just like your RAM. Okay. Uh, but like it's a kind of temporary memory. So this cache memory is actually your SRAM, static RAM. It's a pure form of transistors. It is built inside of your CPU in central processing. So here it is. You have an actual RAM. What is this actual RAM will do it? It load instructions and data from your I/O devices. Okay. So there is an input-output controller, either south bridge. What it will do? This will connect it to the multiple input-output devices. It means like a keyboard, hard disk, mouse, printer, like that's like a different input devices. These input devices will give data instructions. It will load into the I/O. Through I/O, it is loaded into your RAM. So RAM load your data and instructions. So RAM to the CPU and CPU to the RAM communication is there. But RAM speed is different and CPU speed is different. Okay. So you see it is like little different. To match the speed and to control the speed of instruction means to give as speed of CPU running, to give that instructions and data, what will happen? First is what are the data instructions in a RAM load into your cache memory. It's a temporary memory only. Okay, and cache memory is loaded to your CPU. CPU process it and load into the cache memory again, and cache memory to your RAM. Okay, so this is your this cache memory is integrated to your CPU all inside of your CPU. It helps CPU to run faster. It helps give instruction to the CPU from the cache memory. Okay, so exactly say CPU check the instructions that in data in the cache memory. Okay, if in the cache instructions and data are not there, if it is there, CPU will take it and process. It's not there, then it will go to the RAM. Okay, from cache to RAM. RAM has the data instructions and data. Yes, then take it and load it and process it. That's the use of cache memory. So these are the information you have to check it in your CPU, guys. So what is the clock speed? What architecture? 32-bit or 64-bit processor? What is the RAM supporting? So for example, you buy a laptop. It came with a 8 GB memory. Laptop, you got a with a 8 GB memory. Now that RAM is not enough. So you want to increase your RAM capacity. Okay, you have to do a lot of works in your system, but your 8 GB RAM is not enough. Now you want to increase your RAM capacity. But how much RAM you can able to increase? So you want to increase up to 16 GB or 32 GB or 24 GB or 64 GB? How much you can able to increase? What's your maximum limit? How can you know it? From the details, put your processor model. If it is Intel, so from Intel, you are getting that information. What is the maximum support of your RAM size? And what model of RAM it will support it? And what is the clock speed is supported? Based on that, you can able to buy it. Okay. And every processor is a cache memory. Higher the cache memory, faster the processing. Higher the cache memory, faster the processing. Number of cores and number of cores per processor, number of threads per processor. Guys, the number of cores means single processor is split into multiple processors. So single processor split it into multiple processor. You know, earlier days, we have a desktops came with a one single processor slot. Single processor it is. Okay, single processor, single slot. For a servers, server need a higher capacity processing, right? So then the people use two processors or four processors on a single server motherboards. Okay, so it increase the speed. So later, single processors, so capacity is like not enough for a next processing related one, system application. So they put a two processor combined and make it as a dual core processors. Dual core processors with a shared cache memory. So later, so people, what they done, they take one single processor, split it into multiple processor because single processor capacity is also very good. But problem is that multi-processing is become difficult with a single processor. To achieve multi-processing, what they will done, they split one single processor into multiple processors, like a 2, 4, 8, 10, 12, like that. So you see a octa-core processor, quad-core processor, or octa-core processor, dual-core, no, quad-core processor, okay, octa-core, deca-core processors. So what is that meaning? A processor is split into multiple processors, single processor, with a separate cache memories. With a separate cache memory, so each processor is part of the processor, each core of the processor is treated separately. So we need multitasking as well as a speed. These threads are came. Threads means again it's a concept of combining dual core means two processor combination and multi-core processor. By this one we are getting this multi-threading processors. Okay. So higher the number of cores, number of threads, it is a higher processor capacity. So higher the cache memories, higher the number of cores, number of threads is higher. Virtualization technologies. What is virtualization technology? Guys, I'm running a system. This right now I'm using a Windows system, right? So next I'm going to teach about Linux or Windows or some server kind of technologies, virtualization related technologies, right? So what I would need, for example, this is a Windows system. So next class is a Linux class. So what I have to do, I have to buy another system, install a Linux in it, and I have to show the people how to work with the Linux system. Okay, but I'm not doing like that. Using some virtualization hypervisor applications like VMware Workstation, or maybe Oracle VirtualBox applications. I can create and run a virtual machines in my system. How it is possible? The CPU must have this virtualization technology feature inside of CPU and it should be enabled. It should be enabled in a BIOS level, in a hardware level. See this is VMware vSphere system. It's a server virtualization one. This is Windows Server. This is Windows 10 system. This is Linux with the GLPI. Okay. And this is a monitoring tool. And this is Linux system. Again, this is Windows 10. This is also vSphere. This is a Windows 10 with some application development environment is there. This also have to remove it. So Windows 2003 server. Okay. So different virtual machines with a different operating system, different applications for different purposes. Okay. So this is our virtualization technology. Okay, what is the purpose of this virtual technology inside your processor? To create multiple virtual machines and install and run with a different operating system and applications. Okay, so these are about your CPU information. Got it? Okay. Okay. So what is this 32-bit and 64-bit? The 64-bit processor having a higher capacity means it able to run a complex applications. Okay, high bit, big instructions it can able to execute with 64-bit type of processor. Nowadays, most of the processors are 64-bit only. Okay, most of us we are using 64-bit processor only. Okay, next. So again, what is the purpose of this 64? As already said, it can execute a complex instructions, complex, bigger size instruction for certain kind of complex applications, right? So application size is also increasing. So a lot of different applications are came up with the different features inside, right? To run these applications, what we need, I need a higher RAM capacity system. What I need is higher RAM capacity systems. So what I need is virtualization technology can create okay like a see, virtual machines I want to run, right? Different type of applications with to run that application I need a higher RAM capacities. But 32-bit processor does not support higher RAM capacities. 64-bit processor will support a higher RAM capacities. So obviously that is one of the advantages. 64-bit system can run complex applications, complex instructions, and support higher RAM capacity. So then you can run higher applications also, big size applications, complex applications. So point is, guys, you have an application or an operating system you have seen, like it can be a device driver or maybe it is just you download an application, whether it is on Linux or Windows you want to learn it. How can you know this particular application is 32-bit or a 64-bit application you're downloading? Okay, so on an application, mostly it is written like this. Okay, so 32-bit means of course it's 32. If it is written 64, it's 64-bit. x86, it's 32. x86 underscore 64, it is that it's 64. Okay, so what is this x86? Is a Intel, because Intel, the processor 8085 to 8086, then 8086, then 186, 286, 386, like that it is came. So then we are representing a 32-bit processor or Intel processor with a x86 indication. 86 represents its Intel processor. So x86 60. Some places x64, also 64. Okay, AMD 64 for AMD type of processor. Mainly these AMD processors are very less in 32-bit, more in a 64-bit processor released. In Intel, less in a 64 earlier, more in 32-bit earlier. Now it is very less in 32, it's more with a 60. Win64, Windows. This application is for Windows 64-bit Windows purpose, like that indication. So system architectures either 32-bit, 64-bit integration system. On certain applications or packages, it written no arc. What is no arc? Is no architecture specification. For example, you take a Linux based packages you want to install in the Linux system. The Linux system is 64-bit, so compulsory 64-bit packages, you have to install it. Otherwise, it won't accept. But you can install the no arc type of packages also. On 32-bit system, compulsory 32-bit application or no architecture also you can use it. Means no architecture, mean any architecture it will support. Guys, always compatibility is important. So 32-bit, and 32-bit, like a processor is 32-bit, operating system must be 32-bit, device drivers must be 32-bit, and applications is also better, it is 32-bit. For using of lower bit applications on the process, it is, so then they need a supported WoW application. Okay. So still I'm in a processor, it is taking time. Guys, so we discuss how the processors look like and some specifications of processors. But what is this heat sink? Who is protecting this processors? Okay, heat sink. What is this heat sink? Okay, it's a kind of some aluminum alloy based material it is. What is this heat sink will do? It absorbs the heat of your processor. Your processor is getting heated. Okay, when your system is running, the processor is get heat. Once processor is getting heated, so what happen? If processor is getting heated, so what happen? The processor will overheat and it will damage. Okay. Hmm. To protect it from overheating, so there is a heat sink. This heat sink absorb the heat. Heat sink absorb the heat. The heat sink never be like a one single stone kind. So see, there is a gaps. Okay, there is a gaps in between these lines. Okay, so what is this gaps purpose? To let air flow through these gaps. So what is this heat sink? Sits on your processor, absorb the heat, and let the air flow through it using a heat sink fan. So you see that fan? The fan rotate the air. So the air passes through this heat sink and heat sink will get cold. And it makes sure that is your processor is not getting overheated. That is a heat sink. Okay. So this is for a laptops. You can see this is for desktop. This is for a laptops. On this heat processor, there is a heat sink paste or thermal paste we should apply. And then on the top of this thermal paste, we are placing a heat sink. And on the top of heat sink, there is a heat sink fan. Okay, CPU fan or a heat sink fan, we are calling it as. So what it will do, the heat sink fan is like it's rotate the air through this heat sink. Okay, so it will make the heat sink maintain that constant temperature, lower temperature. In case of this heating got full of dust, heating got full of dust, or heating sitting not properly on the processor, or heating paste that is got completely cleaned. So no heating paste. In that cases, a fan is heating CPU fan is not running. In that cases, what happen? CPU is getting overheated. If it is CPU is getting overheated, the processor will be damaged. So what we will do? We try to maintain the constant temperature in the processor. Constant temperature in the processor. Okay. Sorry. Purpose of heat sink is to maintain the temperature constant. In case your heat sink paste is not applied properly or it is got cleaned, So no proper contact to your processor and a heatsink. Next, heatsink full of dust, not sitting properly. A fan is not rotating. CPU is getting overheated. To maintain the, if it is got overheated, what happened? CPU got burned. CPU will burn. To avoid it, because CPU is very costly, right? What our system will do, it verify the temperature, CPU temperature, okay? It verify the CPU, the core temperature. If CPU is getting overheated, our system, what it will restart automatically. System restarts automatically. So one of the reason why system is restarting automatically without showing any errors, there is a possibility of CPU is getting overheated. So in that cases, what to do? Check the heatsink paste and heatsink fan. Any dust on the heatsink, please clean the dust on the heatsink. Okay. And checking means check the compulsories properly sitting or not, paste is applied or not, or reapply the paste by cleaning the old one. Okay. Clean the old paste and reapply the paste. Okay. Make sure fan is running or not. Okay. And eating full of dust. It is also happened to me 2, 3 times. So one simple example is we have a classroom. So in the classroom, we had a classroom, okay, earlier. So that's different branch office, right? So there is a one particularly one system is very near to the window. That window is lower window, so people will open the window at lunchtime. Okay, students will eat food like that time they open the window. Okay, so that's the dust is also coming inside from that window. This is the desktop is very near to that. So the dust formation means entire this heat sink, dust formation. Okay, so it is like that. So it's a dust formation is happened like this. Okay, so because of this dust formation, the air is unable to flow. That heat sink is not getting cold. Okay, CPU is getting heated, so heat sink has to absorb the heat and let itself cooling itself, right? But what happened because of this dust, air is not flowing, heat sink is not getting cooled, then the processor is going to uh, overheat it, right? So every 5, 10 minutes, the system is getting restart again. So what is the thing? So I open the cabinet and see that heat sink is full of dust like this, full of dust. So I use a brush, just normal common brush. I use it like a half-inch brush. Okay. I use a brush and I clean the entirely. I have one old personal desktop. That is heatsink paste is I cleaned accidentally using some what we say this vacuum cleaner kind of stuff. I try to clean with it because of full of dust. So while in the processing of cleaning it, so I cleaned it. Okay, I have opened and everything I cleaned it. So in that process, that heatsink paste is also almost clean. So my system is keep on restarting. So I didn't understand earlier. Later, I purchased this heatsink paste, small paste box available in the 10 rupees. Okay, I applied the heatsink paste on it and connected. Okay, guys, up to the processor. Just 2 minutes, relax. So again, we will connect. Just 2 minutes.